Hey Anbu, how are you this morning?
Yeah, good.
Okay, good, cool. So in the previous session, we have seen how to create a incorporate this gRPC into a web API. That web API was purely a ASP.NET Core web API, and inside that we added both the capabilities. That means we have added the capabilities of that web API to be the gRPC server, as well as that web API to be the gRPC client. So we have seen that in the last session. Okay, so now let's proceed further. Let's make another deep dive to find that. So this in today's session we will discuss about the gRPC client streaming and a couple of other items which has been piled up. We will convert all the methods into async instead of blocking the thread, and also we'll see how to communicate with multiple gRPC services. Okay, so let's get going on the things, and okay, let's see. Okay, this was the one which we created last week. Just a quick recap. So what did we do is in this? This was a purely a ASP.NET Web API. It's a REST Web API, and into that, what did we do is we have added those gRPC ASP.NET Core NuGet package so that it can become a gRPC service, and then we have added this proto here, and after that this proto we brought it from the server. We didn't create a new one. It's just a reference. You double click and you go and see that it refers to the one which is there on the server. You can see that source server college gRPC, right? So that we did it, and also then when we had to select it, we selected both. That means we told that we need the server components as well as the client components. So this is, if you see here, if you come and see here, just we'll not modify anything. We'll just see that. See here, we said that create the client as well as server, because we want the same component to be the server, as well as it has to act as a client. So how did we achieve that? Is we have created the server component, exposed the server here, and we exposed it as part of this one here. Okay, and another thing, what did we do is the namespaces were clashing because we use the same namespace. Like if you see the college DB context and the college DB context here, but the only thing what did we do is it was from a different namespace, but that we were able to include. So if you see this is the for the REST end, this is for the REST endpoint, and this is for the gRPC. Now we were talking to some other service. So if you see this, we were talking to another gRPC server which we have exposed it here. Okay, that was our previous session. Okay, let's come and focus on what we would like to do in this session. Okay, let's take one by one task and start chewing up. Okay, the services, everything is ready, and I have already started that Redis because we have incorporated Redis inside our solution, so it will always be used until unless we don't want to use it. We can go ahead and remove that, but rest of the time we can use this Redis. Cool. So we have Azure Data Studio. It's for our data, the same database on which we were building. Okay, let's take it forward from here. Okay, cool then. So first what we will do is let's go and convert this methods into async, async and await. So it will not block that thread. Okay, so let's start doing that piece. So here, if you see this, the gRPC server is built on this common components. So there's application core, the server BLL and server DAL. Okay, let's start doing from here. So we have two interfaces which belongs to this professor's one. So let's start with this DAL. Let's start with DAL. Okay. So one thing what we can do is we can start it from here or you can start it from there. But if when we start it here, it throws an exception. Okay. Let's first build this solution and ensure that the solution is in compilable state. Let's give that a minute. Okay, I think it's bringing in the npm for that web. We have a web client also in our solution. So I think it's bringing in those nuggets and npm packages. Because of this, in the last session we have included a we have added gRPC client to this one, and inside this we had a controller, and that controller was talking, and the client app, the Angular 9 app, which was here, the fetch data that was pulling in the information from this controller. So I think that's the reason it was taking time. See this professors. So let's give that a minute too. Okay. In the meanwhile, we can quickly see what is this asynchronous programming. So it doesn't block the current thread. So that what happens is it switches the context. It comes to the place where you're doing some work which takes few seconds. It goes and finishes this and then restores this execution from the point where it stopped. Okay, so that's what we are doing it right now. So let's give it another. Okay, cool, it's done. So let me close everything and let's focus on the one which we want to do. Let me stop it here and hi Professor Dal. Also from hi Professor Dal. That's that interface and Professor Dal. Okay. So because here we are doing the save changes. So we have two methods here. If you come and do it, you have this one asynchronous method is there. This is the synchronous method. What we are currently using is a synchronous method. Now let's convert into asynchronous method. There will be a lot of errors which will be coming in while we are progressing. But let's go ahead and whatever the issues which we encounter, let's start handling those things. Okay, so now that we said we want to hit that async and we have added await. So the moment we added it, it says that this await can be used only in the async method. So again, we'll come back and we'll add async here. And the moment we add async, then it shows that hey, it doesn't allow it. It needs to throw a task there. The return type must be the void or task. Okay. So then what we do is we go and add the task here, and then it's not finding the NuGet. It's not finding that using statement, and then we will add that that task. Okay. So one of the three methods has been converted into async. Okay. Now let's do the same thing here. So here we have toList, and now we have that toList async, and then we add await here. And the moment we add await here, it will throw a squiggly, and then I'll tell that okay. And then we want this to be a task. Okay, so that's all is well there. And the next thing is we have first or default, and again we'll convert this first or default async, and we'll do an await here, and then we have to sync async, and now convert that into task. Okay, so now all the three methods which are there inside this Professor Dal has been converted into async await. And the moment you do it, then it shows a squiggly here in the interface, because the interface is not matching the implementation, because in interface it is purely professor and it's not the task of professor. Okay, so let's do that. Let's fix the interface. So there'll be a lot of problems which will be coming while we are doing this one. So we'll tackle one by one. Okay, so that we'll take this task, and then I'll remove this, and then I do a task of this, and then again task of this professor. Okay, so now see this, now the interface and its implementation both are matching. So it's of task of professor, task of I enumerable, and task of professor, right? So now it is matching. So the moment, because we have all those three layers, we have data access layer, we have a business logic layer, and we have the service itself. Okay, in gRPC we are using service, in REST we use the controllers. So similarly, whatever is controller for REST Web API, this is equivalent to that. Okay, so now when you go and compile this, the contract doesn't match with the business logic layer. So business logic layer, it says that it's not able to convert that, because we are returning whatever we are getting it from the DAL. So DAL is returning the task of professor, and here what we are returning is we are returning the professor, so which is not matching. And again this guy will throw errors. Okay, so let's start fixing one by one. Okay, so all we need to do is, it's already async method, we need to do an await, and we do an async here and mark it as a task. Okay, then we need to do the same thing for the next layer also. Okay, so at least this method is done, and let's do the same here for await, and do sy nsync and task. Okay, that's the one which we fixed it here. And where did we do await? Okay, and we do the await here, and then task of this professor, and that should be in async method. Okay, so I think we fixed it. Now it will ask us to go fix the business logic layer, and business logic layer and the data access layer, both this are same. So I would like to short circuit instead of going step by step, because we have seen the detailed steps in the data layer fix. Now when we are fixing this interface for this business logic layer, I think we can do some kind of short circuiting. Okay, cool. Now that is done, it will throw some more errors. Everything will be under our control in next 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, don't worry. And then what will happen is we'll go to the layer. This is the gRPC service layer. Okay, now we need to fix this layer also. Let's start fixing this one. So we'll start with async. This is async task, and here we do await on that, and we'll remove this. Okay, I'm sorry, not await on here, await on this business logic layers method. Okay, so once we do this, see this squiggly is gone, because this method was already a task. We added the async, so that the business logic layer is already in async and await pattern. So we are using the await here. Okay, so one of the method is fixed. Now let's this is already an async, and we mark this as await here. And are we doing anything? Okay. And then the third one is it's already an async. Now we'll do an await here, right? So I think that's pretty much inside this. Let's check that. And it was okay. Okay. So once again, task start from result. Okay. That is already taken care. So we don't need this here. We'll come and remove this. And we have taken care. Async is here and the professor is here. We're calling this. Okay, this has been taken care. And async is here and we are calling await on this. And then we are converting whatever is being returned into the all professors. And we are sending all professors out. All professors response. This is add professors response and cool. Okay, so let's go and check, because we had two servers, gRPC servers. One gRPC server is the one, the native template which you have taken in Visual Studio, and the other one is the REST web API. The web API we have converted it, so we need to do treat the same. Okay, so we'll come in here and we'll do an async on this and do an await. And okay, that's been removed. And we do an await on this. We got all the professors. And the next piece is here. We'll come and do an await on this one. And that's quickly is gone. I think that should be good enough. Let's wait it to get compiled. Let's execute this. Okay, ensure that we did not break anything, and then we will start with the item one, streaming. Okay, so we have the data here, and the server has been executed. And let me open a new command line that will help to speed up instead of we going and starting and stopping the server, because this is will keep this one alive. And so cd and the d colon, and let me check that where we are, and to console client. Let's go into this console client and do a dir. We have another folder where .NET run. Okay, I'm executing. So we have the server, and let me put a debugger inside this gRPC service. I will put a debugger because get professor ID. Okay, the debugger is already on. Okay, so we have the server here and client here. So it's asking enter a professor ID to retrieve. So I just go and grab this guy A7144 and then go ahead and looks like I didn't copy it properly. Let me copy this and paste it here. The moment I hit it, you can see that it initiated the call, and we received the call in this gRPC service, which is an async await. And we do an F10 and it goes and checks, is there anything in cache, Redis cache? There's nothing in Redis cache. Now we are doing this one. So we can do get into detail how it is happening. So we can do an F11 and getting inside this, and again before doing a dal, I do an F11 again, and here I come and you can see this is it's doing an await, on that DB context, and it is returning. I do Shift F11 to come out of this, and again Shift F11 to come out of this, and Shift F11 to come out of that. And you can see this, the professor has been requested. Okay, now that we have it, I just continue. So it shows the professor details. Now let's go and look for this guy 359. Do you want to continue? I said yes, I want to continue, and I want this record of this guy. So again, you can see that we are going in the same. This time I'm not doing F11. I just jumped out, so you can see that data which exactly matches with this name REDIUG. These are random names which we generated. Okay, so that's how we were able to convert it. Okay, let's take real quick 2 minutes time to convert the address book service. Address book service also, let's convert that one. Okay, because what is that is today's streaming we will be doing for the address book in specific. So let's do that. I'll go to that data access layer, and first let me convert, because we have only one method. So let's start converting this real quick, but we'll not do any validation, because we already seen in length how it is working. If needed, we can do a small validation, but I think we already did in a detail. Okay, and let's bring in the using statement. I think this fixed it, and the moment that got fixed, this DAL will trouble us. So we need to come back here and say that there's a task of address, and that also will fix it. So I think these two layers got fixed. And let me close this and go to the business logic layer and convert this, because we have converted one layer, the other layer is not going to keep quiet, and that expects task of address. So I bring in that, and we do an await over here, and then once we did it, we need to fix this. Let's fix it here. Task of address. So let's bring in this. Okay, now we converted two layers, and obviously the third layer will shout at us. Let's see. Let's give it a minute to compile, and then we'll go and fix it. Oh, I'm sorry, I was running the server. You can see this could not copy, because it looks like something is running here. So that was the reason, because I forgot to remove that. Okay, now let's do a recompilation. Okay, good. So let's come and see the address book service. Are we lucky? We didn't show. Okay, we didn't do this. Let's do it. It's already task. Let's do an async over here and do an await. And right. So let's do one final rebuild. Let's see that what is there in the address book. Oh, sorry. Select start address book. Let's go grab. Okay, there's nothing in the address book. I think this gives us an opportunity to go and do a quick validation on the address book. Do we have anything on the address book in our console app? Okay, we don't have. Okay, anyway, we'll start it now. We'll start it. on the address book. Okay, so we can do that real quick. So because one of the other thing we had in our agenda is to communicate to multiple gRPCs from a single gRPC client. Okay, we can do in different modes, but this is one of the mode which we will be doing now. And we have this web app client. Let's grab this helper from here. Okay, let's grab this helper from here, and let's quickly create a helpers here. gRPC helpers. I create a new folder, gRPC helpers, and let's create with the same name instead of we doing a copy, and then we'll copy the content, and I call this as add a new class, and just to avoid the namespace and other things while copying, I just wanted to create a new file and copy the class. I mean, different ways we can do it. I just felt this as little safe. It's a personal choice. So, okay. So we'll go grab this guy from here. Okay. So now the gRPC channel, we need it. Okay. So now looks like all is well. We have one helper. Let's create another helper also, so that we can complete this also. Okay. So let's come back. Let me close this here, and let's go back to the one of the previous solution which we worked in our gRPC series itself. I think it was in session 4 or something where we had. Yep, this is the guy. So we were working on the worker processee, and I think this worker processee was this one. Okay, let's grab this guy, and okay, let me open that. First, let me copy the name. Let's recreate it, and again I'll come in here. Okay, before that we need to grab the grab the proto. So let me go first and add this connected services, and we already have one here, and I want to add another one, another gRPC, and quickly go grab this guy from the server. Address book also, and I want to create a client. I said okay, that's good. It's done. So right now we have two. Now it makes sense to go grab this file and create its file. There is another way also to do it. So we have to pass pass the function, and a single thing, a single reusable method will be there, which will go and talk to any kind of gRPC services. Okay, that I'm just parking it from today's agenda, but I would like to give you a glance in a moment. Let's go quickly grab this guy, and let me grab this guy. So we'll discuss about that in our next week session, how to achieve that. So at this point of time, let's come here. And grab this, and grab this. That nougat is gone, and we've added this, and this is also got sorted. And let's do a quick rebuild. Okay, in the next, as we were doing from the starting of this series, so first we'll do something in a way we want to do, and then we'll start improvising on that. So same method we'll follow. If you compare from what we were doing in this console application and what we are doing now, you can see that improvement. First, what we do is we had added this client here itself, the college service client, as a static property inside the main class, the program class. Now that we moved that to this, we have seen in since couple of episodes, we were seeing that. Now a new improvement what we are doing is inside the same console application, we have two helpers, and both each helper is talking to one gRPC service. Now, if you see that one talking to the professor's table and one talking to the address, I mean, technically it is like one is talking to the college service, one is talking to the address service. Okay, so at this point of time, if you see that we have the same lines of code, there's nothing changed except this the client over here. And what if we wrap that and send this particular invocation function as a parameter to a function, and that generic function goes and calls n number of gRPC service. So that we will do it in the next episode, but as of now we will settle down with this method. Okay, so once that is done, let me come here. Let's do some small tweaks to our existing this thing. First thing what we will do is I will comment this out. Let me comment this out. So the moment I do comment, it might throw some errors. We'll fix that. Whatever is coming, we'll fix it. Okay, so that's there. And we didn't. Okay, it's not able to recognize that client. Where is this client? Yeah, this guy. College service client. Okay, essentially, if you see this, the college service client is here in this helper. Okay, so let's go grab this guy. Okay, let's fix it. Let's use this method for today, and next week we will fix it. Okay, so what the hell? Where I call it as college client. Okay, then we need to bring in the namespace. We bought that, and okay, the service URL, and the service URL is the same. This one. Okay, so this is what is this is of this type. So let's go grab this guy. Okay, so he had this, and next what we will do is we'll go here and grab the address book client and come in here, and okay, this is address client, and then we have address service client helper dot get address client, and we are accessing the same configuration information, and then let's go grab this guy. Okay, and once we have two of those services, so let me, I mean, just as a little bit of code cleanup, I'm pushing this down. So let's come back real quick, and this one, there was something known as client. Now that we are calling it as college client. Okay, and That should be static. Okay. Right. So now that we have built, let's go quickly and verify whether existing functionality is working or not. Then we'll add one for the invocation of address book. Okay, let me go grab this server. Let's execute the server once. And let's go back to the client terminal, which we already had. And I'm inside the console. Let me do and .NET run. So I think we have seen few of the records, but we didn't see other record AE. I remember we didn't see this. So let's go program object reference not set to an instance. Okay. Line 28. Let me stop this. Let me stop this. Line 28 is this one. College surveys. I think. Okay, the configuration. Let me move this declaration inside. Inside this. 1 second. Don't need this. Don't need this. Okay. And I think let's put a debugger here also, just to ensure that we are on the right path. Okay, the server is being executed. Now let me go execute this client. Okay, so let's see this config, and let's do a shift F9 to see that we are retrieving the proper values. Shift F9. Okay, it is giving a proper value, and let's do an F10. Okay, that has been initialized. Okay, that has been initialized, and let's run. Okay, good. So now that it is running, let me restart this one, because we just wanted to ensure that things are working. So let me go and format this, format the document, and a little bit of beautification, nothing else. And that's being done. And we don't need this variable. Can do that a little later also. So few of the unused usings, I just removed it. And okay, cool. Let me grab this server. Let's wait for a minute. The servers to start. Okay, server has started. And now let's go start our client. Okay, cool. It has come in. Let's go grab this guy and paste it here. Okay, let me remove this. If at all I have any other debuggers. Okay, there are no debuggers, and let's place these two side by side. Okay, cool. We got the data, and I want to continue. And this time I will go and look at this 502, which I didn't see this record. And again, it is coming the details of 502 GIMOUXU. That's the name. So our existing functionality did not break. We were still able to view the data, and that's good. So we didn't break anything existing. So now that we have added another helper also, we can add a small piece of information to add a address into this one. So let's quickly go grab some of the pieces which we have it here from this worker. Let me go grab this in the notepad. And yeah, here is the one which we are doing it. We got the client and we are creating a new address request, and then we are making a call. Okay, I think let me use this new address request that just after we view the records, let's address service gRPC. Okay, so that's the one, and I go grab this name. Okay, so that is all, and we need to invoke this, and let me go grab this. We don't need this because we already tested it. That was a iConfig was there. And now let me go grab this guy and drop it here. Okay, cool then. So let me check what is there inside this address. There is nothing in this address table. This is the one. If you see this, in address table, we don't have anything in this block, in this table. Okay, let's quickly go and test this. Just for this time, we will place this here. Let me execute it, and okay, it is executing. And let me go execute this console application, and okay, it's expecting the professor because I forgot to switch. I placed it below. It's my mistake. I should have placed it above because we already tested that professor's this thing. Okay, now it gets the information. Okay, now this time I don't want to continue. Now see this, it has come in here. So now we have a professor user address, and that is there. So it starts with LIMUV. Now we have again and again we are verifying address book is empty, and I do an F11 into this just to see that we are going and hitting the address book service. And okay, and then you can come and validate it here. So whatever the name which we have created, it is happening. So with that, we have concluded the second piece of the session, and both are very good pieces, and I feel both are important. So converting into async await pattern is you don't have any blocking threads. All are non-blocking calls, so you can process more requests. Just a moment, guys. I'm having a glass of water. Thanks. So yeah, so and this one also where it's a real-time use case. We want to talk to multiple servers. So it's a real and practical scenario, and that's good. So now let's come into the key piece, the client-side streaming. Wow. So at last. So I will move this here, and I think we might need to discuss AutoMapper next week only because we'll not have time. I think the client streaming itself will take a decent half hour time. So let's focus on that. So The concept is, let's build up a story. Let's assume students or someone who's trying to enroll on something like that enrollment system. Let's talk about the enrollment system. And what the thing is that you're trying to enroll for your bank, your job, or your passport, or some other government services, for different things. So our story is that we are building an enrollment system where folks will go and they will enroll their thing. So if you go to any e-seva or government agency where they will accept your address enrollment and they click on this one. So why are you enrolling your address? So just for LPG subsidy, for bank and for visa, or for employment, or for medical facilities, different reasons it could be. It could be different reasons. So what happens is, our story is, let's assume that kind of enrollment information is coming from some client. That means a single user address, but the type of enrollment is multiple. So the single user address, they are enrolling for the bank, and single user address, they are enrolling for the LPG subsidy. Single user address, they are enrolling for passport, and single user address, they are enrolling for the electricity department. So one user address, you have four different types of enrollments. So technically what is this is, we are sending 4 different messages to the server, right? So from client, we are sending 4 different messages. Server accepts all those 4 different messages and processes it, and then gives us back a single message. So that's the story, right? Let's start building it right now. Let me grab this Visual Studio. And let's open this. Okay, we will not build anything new. We will use our existing infrastructure also, because we have built a lot of things in this previous 5 episodes, and this is the 6th episode. So let's build on top of what we already have. Okay, so let me close everything so that we can focus only what is needed. So the first thing what we will go is, we go grab this guy from the server. We have to expose a new RPC method. Okay, let's focus only on the pieces which is missing. So if you come in here, address enrollment, enrollment is a 1. Okay, so you can see this enrollments are coming, and that if you see this one here, when we compare this RPC method with rest of the methods which we have, let's take 1 minute time to see that. Let's analyze what we were doing till now. So in this add address, it is accepting a message and it is returning a message. This is a plain vanilla class kind of thing. And on top of that, we made one more progress, is that we used Google's portbuff date timestamp, because that's the date timestamp which it supports, and we have to convert to and from with C#'s date time. And the next thing we have seen is when we are getting get all professors. Get all professors is sending the all professors response. So if you go and see that all professors response has got a field called repeat. Okay, repeated. That means what we are telling is, this particular professors is a repeat or enumeration or a collection of get professor response. That means this professors is one or more of this type. So that's one more thing which we have seen. Another thing what we have seen is, here in get all professors, we are not accepting any message. We are saying that Google portbuff empty. That means we are telling that, hey, I don't want any parameters, but I'm going to give you this. Okay. Now, similarly, this is the same thing which nothing new. So it's one message is coming and one message is going out. Now, if you come and see this Here we are telling that the client side add address enrollment. We are telling that stream. That means I'm going to send you one or more messages. Okay, it's not mandatory that if you mark it as stream, you need to send definitely send more than one message. But the intention of we mentioning stream on this parameter side is that we are expecting multiple messages from the client. So that's the deal. So we are saying that stream off. Okay, and on the other side, we are telling that server is not going to return anything. We are saying that it's empty. Okay, the full story we will see the next week, where the story is like today you made some enrollments and after 2-3 weeks you check it online, what happened to my enrollment. We will tell that okay, your address enrollment for the electricity bill is approved, and for LPG subsidy is rejected, and for land allotment it is in progress, and something is verified. So different states, state of the state or progress of this enrollment. So that's what we will show it in the next. Okay, we'll understand the full cycle in the next episode, but this episode's let stick with this. Okay, so let me first grab this address addition request, and that's what I wanted here. So let me grab this guy into our address enrollment. Okay, and we'll bring in this method also, the Rpc method. Perfect. We have this Rpc method. I think that's it. Let's quickly build, because I sensed it that did I key in some additional characters. I still doubt, because there was something I can verify that. That's what I. Oh, okay. That's this namespace. That's this namespace. I just bring in this couple namespace and add it here. Okay, so let's bring in that. Cool. Okay, so I didn't break anything. And the next big piece is we need to update our address book service. Okay, right now the address book service has got only one method, that is add address. Now we are having this add address enrollments. Okay, that's pretty simple, because I already to save the time I already coded and kept it here, so that will save our time. So let me go bring in some of those things which are needed. One thing I need is this address enrollment statuses. That is for the server side. So at this point of time, we are enrolling only the client side streaming. So okay, so let me grab this guy. Let me grab this guy and drop it here. Okay. Right. So empty. Let me bring in this namespace, and we need some private method. I will go grab that private method here. Okay, that's gone, and that means we are dynamically generating these things. Let's go grab this guy, the server DAL. Oh, no, sorry, wait. It's not from the server DAL. This is the address data. I think, where is that? Address data is missing. Okay, that's the entity. Go to the definition. Yes, that's a address data entity. Let me need to grab it and drop it here in our core, because all the entities we decided that we will put it inside the core. Okay. Now that's quickly is gone. Right. Now we need to work on this to create a business logic layer method and also a data access layer, because the previous sample which I worked was I was directly accessing the DB context. Okay. For the time being, we'll park this and we'll come and revisit. Let's go to the data access layer and we'll see what's happening here. Okay. So here is the one which is coming in and we are sending it here. And let's see what is our intention here in this address book service. And okay, add address enrollments. So we are sending in a stream, and well, this is a server side, isn't it? Okay, this was the server side. Actually, we should start from the client side. Okay, no problem. I'm sorry. This is, we should start from the, I mean, let's discuss from the client side. We will do it in a moment so that we will understand. So what is happening here on the client side is, so client side, what will happen is we will create a user address addition, and this the enrollment type. This is an enrollment type, and I'm retrieving from this enrollment types. So this enrollment types, what is this enrollment types is like what different types. Let's go and see that, like for what reason you are trying to enroll this. So that's the thing. So if you see this for general purpose or for bank or for business or for employment, something, some different reason. So you will just create those different address additions. We'll give the name and random address, and then we will enroll it. And here from the client side, what we are doing is we're creating this add address enrollments, which we saw this here on the server side. So what this server side is doing is add address enrollments. It is receiving a stream that we have seen in the proto. So we are receiving a stream. So all the server side is doing is it's starting a task, an async task, because that's a stream. We have to await on this for each. So this request stream will receive all those streams which are being sent from the client. So for each of the piece inside the stream is a single message. So for each of those message, we are calling in add address, get address data. That's what we are converting that to the address data type. This is an entity which is this side of the world, where we go and save it to the data, and then we will invoke the DB context. Okay, so let's build this. So that's a full story. The server will send, the client will send multiple messages, and like see, we are sending in for all these enrollment types. So there are 4 items. For those 4 items, we are sending in a loop 4 messages to the server. We have created a stream here because that's a stream type, and the stream is here, and we are looping through that address enrollments, and we are sending in each address here. Okay, and we are sending in each address here, and the enrollment type we are taking it in this here. So we loop through and we send those messages, and then once we are done, we will tell that complete async the request complete async. That means you're saying that okay, I'm done sending in the messages. Now all those messages will be received from the server, and what server will do? Server will do a for each, doing an await because this is an async, and we'll receive each and every message. Whatever the message we receive, we'll go and save it. So essentially, what is that? Address data is being saved here. Okay, we're not going to send anything outside. Okay, let's go quickly build this infrastructure. We don't have at this point of time. Let's grab this. I will close all and okay. Okay, here is the one. You can say void, and what is that? We call it as enroll address. We call it as address enrollment, address data. And we'll add it here also. So we added it here at the both places. So let's quickly go here and expose a method because we already done. So we need to implement the interface, and inside this interface, let's do a similar logging, but we are not going to send anything out. We're not going to send anything out. So let me mark this as async, and what we do is address enrollment. We are hitting the same %db context. Let's go check this %db context in our persistent. We are reaching the address book itself. So where is the DB context? The DB context is in application. This address. Okay, we can take this address. We don't need this address data. It's already exposed it. Sorry. Let's go change this. It should be the address. Okay. And here also, let me change it to this address, because essentially we are doing the same thing. Okay, I think we already have that infrastructure. We don't need to write it because we don't need to write that. Here you can see this. We are talking to the same table, so we don't need this additional things. We have the same. Okay. Address. Okay, some fields are little bit different, but let me check what is there in the table. Okay, student ID, the latest one is there. Okay, let's fix to this. Let me close all and revert the method which I'm writing, because we already have the infrastructure. We don't need to worry about it. Okay, and here also we already have that infrastructure. We don't need to worry about it. Okay, and we don't need this address data. I will close this. I'll close the address data. That's pretty much sure. That's it. So what we will do is let's start implementing the server piece, and let's come in here. And this is the address enrollment. Okay, so what we are getting is we are getting the address addition request. So when we go to this prototypes, and we can see this address addition request is, we are getting the name, address, enrollment, and the status. So let's compare this with the entity which we have it. Okay, the address entity which we have it. I'll copy this address entity and paste it in a notepad so that we can fill in if something is needed. Okay, so let me place this side by side so we can see this. Okay, so we have name is there. Student ID, let's fix it some GUID from the other place. Name, we have full address. So let's me add it here. Full address, name, and we have the full address and enrollment and enrollment status. Okay, cool then. So I think, oh, we have this here. Okay, we don't need to worry about this one also. So I think this is also there. We already have it. Okay, so we already have this here. So we take this here. We don't need to give anything. Okay, there's nothing new changing because we already have that piece of information. So that's good. So once that is done, so let me close all and open this address book service. Come back, this add address is there, and now here is the streaming. So the streaming expects to be the same request, so we don't need to do anything new. Okay, we don't need to do anything new here, and this address is being sent the same thing. Whatever we are sending in here, we need to do the exact same thing here. Okay, so here we will comment this. Okay, and get address is coming. We don't need this address information. I think we can generate it this way itself. So let me comment this method. We don't need this method also because we have the entire infrastructure. So let's not worry about anything. What we can do is we can grab this one piece, and anything we are depending on the request, whatever is coming. Yes, we are depending on the request. So let's grab this entire block here and drop it here in this address. Okay, so here instead of this request, okay, this I'm calling it as underscore just to avoid the name clash, and that we'll put it here. I think that's it. So what we are telling is essentially whatever the stream of addresses which we are getting it from the client, we are traversing through each and everything and taking the values from and creating our entity class. Okay, once that entity class is done, all we do is we'll call this guy. Okay, we'll call this guy, and we get this address, and we can just log it. We can just log it and leave it. We don't need to worry about anything. We call this, and we can write a single log mentioning that what is the ID which it generated, right? So the address, the new address is here. So I can do a simple console.log, console.write line. Okay. So working in Node.js and C#, sometimes you get confused. Write line, and we are doing this ID of this generated one. So let me quickly go in here and new address dot ID. Okay, let's use that ID. Okay, I think that's pretty much. Let's. I think the server infrastructure is built. Let's take real quick a couple of minutes to build the client to test it, and we'll revisit. Okay, something is failing. Let's fix that. No problem. Let it fail. Did we run something? No, nothing is run. What is it? Address data. What is this? Okay. Address data. Okay, we don't need this. We already discussed that we don't need it, and we already discussed that in the interfaces we don't need anything because the same address will work. I think that should fix it. We forgot to remove the code which we created, but we don't need that. Okay, let's go it now. Now it should work. Cool. Everything is built. Right now we have our server infrastructure. So what we can do is we already have the client with which we were talking. So I mean, next session we will do a detailed worker processing, which is there already. So in the next session we will do two things. We will create a worker processing, and that will do this address enrollments. The story is like the streaming of worker enrollments, which might come from different government offices to a centralized queue, and we are picking up and we are working. So for that kind of thing, we need a worker processing. So we'll do that in the next session. But for this session, to test that end to end, let's do a quick client. We'll keep it here itself. Here is the one we'll work on this address enrollments at the top. Okay. Client side streaming. Okay. So let's go grab that piece of line, and then we will fix everything from there. Okay. And the client, everything is there. Okay, here is the one. So we're calling as add address enrollment, and we are streaming in. The only thing is we are changing this piece and address enrollments. I think that's pretty much. We need only this piece. Okay, so let me do a format of this. There are a few things which we can which we have to fix it. What is that? We did it for I'm calling it as user address 1. This also user address 1, just to avoid the name clash. Okay, and this is add address request because we are using the existing infrastructure. We're not building anything new. So let me go grab this guy, and the name generator. We have this address generator. So we have this address generator. We have the name generator for that. 1 second. We have the common, the utilities. Okay, in the utilities we have the name generator. Okay, here in the common, well, we have already this created with us. So in this utility we have the address generator. In this address generator, and we have a random value generator also. We already created it. Okay, that's a random number generator. So let's fix this small pieces here. Okay, and that one we will use it here. 1 second, and that's the 4th session. I think this piece we can copy it from here. We already created it in the 4th session just to speed up the time. So here is the one. Perfect. So here is the one we'll create it. Okay, instead of struggling, it's already there. And then this is a client. Okay, and enrollment types. And let's wait on this enrollment types. Let me check that. Where did I keep that enrollment types? In this constants. Yep, here. Address constants, enrollment types. So let me go grab this guy. Here in this constants. Okay, constants dot address constants dot enrollment types. Okay, so for each and every enrollment, we are going in here. Okay, that's so that's address enrollment. That's the stream. Wait, local. What is? Okay, so let me check this. So this is the address enrollment, and that's we are not returning anything. Add address. Okay, looks like something I missed it. 1 second. Let me revisit that. Okay, I think here in this address enrollment also I need to send this back. I think that's what I need to do because okay, cool, no problem. So let's come back here. So this should be void only. I'm sorry, that will be void only, and this is correct. And on the client side program only I need to fix it. 1 second. So what we do is we had traversing, we are completing. Okay, await of stream. Okay, so let me compile this. Okay, cool then. I think pretty much that's it. So we can put a debugger and we can start. Let's run this. Okay, we have only one of the record. Let's start the server. Let's start the server. And I'll place the debugger here. Okay, so let's see, the server is running. Yes, the server is running. So let's start the client and debug, start the instance. Okay, it has come in here. So we are starting the stream. So we are here. And if you see this enrollment types, that's a 4 strings. So we are taking a random each and every enrollment type. So the first enrollment type is internal exams, and then we are writing it to the stream. Okay. SSL could not be established. Why? Okay. Wait. And did we? Yep, we have it. So let me see this. Hold on. Okay, good that it is here. Now let's go into this and I think that's this one here. Enrollment. I can place the debugger here just to ensure that we are not breaking anywhere. And then let's come back to the console and start the debugger. Okay, so let me do an F10. Good. So the second message we are sending. Now the third message we are sending. I think I didn't compile previously, so that's the reason now it has come in here, and the stream is going in there, and I said complete, and we are awaiting on that, and then we did the send all, and then we'll come and execute this. There you go. Okay, so that's the thing. I mean, it was my mistake that I didn't compile this previously, so that is the reason. Okay, so this we can conclude this episode with streaming. I mean, this streaming is not full-fledged streaming, which we are going to do that full-fledged streaming in the next episode, where we'll be doing the client-side streaming as well as the server-side streaming. So both will be from the worker service client. The client side will be the worker service client. Okay. So quickly recap, what did we do? In the address book, we have exposed a Rpc method, and we said the parameter we said stream. So if you recall that in the college service where we said that repeated, where we're telling that repeated of this. Similarly, here we're telling the parameter is stream. That means you can expect one or more messages. Okay, and we implemented the server here, and that we told it comes as a stream, and we have to start a async task here. Task.run async, and then we are awaiting on the stream because we are reading the stream. And from each of those stream, we are converting to the entity type and then invoking the existing infrastructure. We didn't need to sweat anything. Okay, at last we do a db task.await. Okay, so we do it here. And in the client side, what did we do? We are traversing. We create a stream here, and we will traverse. I mean, it's not that we need to traverse something, or you can send different mechanism. This is the way I thought. You can run a for loop, or you can read a text file, or a CSV, or an Excel, or read it from table and send it, or read from queue, or Cosmos DB. There are a host number of options. This is the simplest method which I thought. So I'm traversing through the array of strings, and I'm sending four messages. Okay, you can do any mechanism. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. So okay.